We'll open the seat up here for you in a minute. We're just going to get kicked off as soon as this starts.
Are you ready for some football, John?
Week one, we can't wait. All right, my man. Well, I've got I'm at home. I got my screen all set up. I apparently have a cat that will not leave me alone, but that's another story for another day. And week one action is finally here. NFL started technically on Thursday, but I would argue it starts today. A full slate of games. Everything's kicking off in about 29 minutes. So we'll be here for about 25 because you need time to go to the bathroom, get your drinks, get your nachos, get everything else.
Wings.
Oh, you got the wings today.
Got to have wings on game day, baby.
We didn't get wings. We gotta rethink our strategy. We did not get wings. We went bagels and we went coffee. And of course, I got my Eagles shirt on. I know we're not playing till tomorrow, but very excited about this.
Yeah.
But
defense holds up.
But this is going to be a great season. You know, as we look around the league, one of the things that has already started coming up, and I'm going to start with the Houston-Kansas City game. And I like this game for a couple reasons. One, I have Houston as my fantasy defense in my money league, which I think is going to pay off handily because J.J. Watt should have about 907 sacks this year. But two, Eric Fisher's inactive today for the Chiefs. So J.J. Watt's going to be going against basically you at right tackle. A guy who was cut last week will be starting for the Chiefs, and you almost want to wish Jamal Charles and Alex Smith an early good luck.
Is Fisher, is it the ankle still?
Yep, the ankle's still bad. He doesn't trust it to last for a full game. So we're in the situation where, you know, you got to rely on speed to stop J.J. Watt if you can even do that at all. But fair enough. To slow J.J. Watt down, you have to rely on speed. And if you got a bum ankle.
Lock him in the room. Don't let him out.
Do you think that could hold him?
No.
Like even a padded room, I'm not even sure that could hold JJ.
Give that dude a Mountain Dew, and I guarantee he jumps through the door.
Right? Start like you got the cells being broken open, Superman style. That's it. I want to hear that sound when they mic him up for the NFL today. That's what I want to hear. Is that
come out and do like the Triple H thing and right. Are you ready? Then spit the water everywhere, but it's got to look like Texas oil when it comes.
I like it. Well, I was reading. It was funny. I was reading Grantland yesterday, and they were talking about their 17, nonsense NFL predictions, which are always funny anyway. But one of them was that Vince Wilfork is at some point going to body slam J.J. Watt just because he's going to get so annoyed of the always on, always going. I always work. I'm there at 4:00 in the morning. I'm there at midnight or whatever. And Vince Wilfork's just gonna be like 2 championship rings. Got 2. Why don't you calm down?
Yeah, but you know what though? You gotta have a balance of that. And Vince is the vet. And as much as that probably annoys him, I'm sure he'd rather have a guy that's turned on than a guy he's got to go over there and motivate and put his foot in the kid's rear end to get him going. So
fair enough,
dude. Like the issue with the Titans I called them the Titans. The Texans, it still remains to be the quarterback.
Yeah, for sure. You got Hoyer there. You don't know how good he's going to be. If good at all, you're out without Arian Foster. Alfred Blue is not really a good option as a fill-in. Yeah. And the bigger problem is there are already complaints this morning coming out of the people who are reporting on the Kansas City Chiefs that the field, which has been a problem for Houston for a while, is in bad shape today. And that's the same field that was blamed for Jadeveon Clowney's knee injury last year, which kept him out the entire year. Ooh. If they can't fix this is another situation. You got it in San Francisco. You got it here now. You got all these new fields and these new turfs, and players are afraid to play on them. It's like playing baseball in the old Vet Stadium in Philly.
Yeah, you would think that these guys, the owners and the general managers, if you're going to invest this much money into your team, like, have a decent field. I mean, you don't have to play on AstroTurf. I mean, because that's hard enough as well. But, dude, at least hey, I got a couple of homies down the block. They
can install some for you.
$50 a week, dude. They'll cut it, mow it, blow it. Hey, dude, it's all good. They roll up. There's about 8 of them in the truck, but I don't know how long it's going to take for them to get there, but dude, they make it work. And they have some of these people's lawns looking better than most of these NFL stadiums. So it amazes me how much they can pay for everything else, but you're gonna have a crappy field. Like,
yeah. Well, speaking of paying for everything else, you and I did our week in review earlier this week, and that's available on the Fanzeal YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/Fanzeal Sports. And one of the things that really set you off that I laughed at was quarterbacks and their pay and Eli Manning's giant contract. And I know you were against it from the start, but what was even better is there was a bunch of NFL insiders were polled this week about who the top 5 and who the elite quarterbacks are in the league. And I'm going to give you a minute to do your happy dance here because Eli did not make the top 15. I'm just going to sit back and let you go.
Give it to me. Give me a little Fanzeal, baby.
So you argued all week he was not worth the money, and now NFL scouts and NFL insiders are agreeing with you.
Dude, can somebody in the NFL give me a job? Like, I'll take a quarter of what you're paying the other dude, and I guarantee you, I get you at least the same results. I'm trying to save you guys some money here.
Well, so we'll hop up, and even though it's a night game, we'll get into that right now because we're talking about Eli. Starting with a big NFC matchup, Giants, Cowboys tonight. 2 teams, as an Eagles fan, I cannot stand, and that's one of the great things about Fanzeal. We want to hear from fans, not just experts and not just insiders. The fans are what really carry, sports and certainly pay the athletes' salaries. And, you'll be able to ask all the questions you want at Fanzeal of the athletes and get, answers directly from them. But as we look ahead to tonight's game, Romo, Manning, bad Dallas secondary, questionable Giants health. Des Bryant is going to play. They don't have DeMarco Murray anymore. It's going to be an interesting matchup.
Dude, all I'm going to say is keep the ambulance close because somebody's getting carried out in this game. Like yourself, these are 2 teams that I pretty much utterly despise. I haven't liked the Cowboys since Tony Dorsett was there, and that's just because dude was a player. He'd run a touchdown back and then run by the cheerleaders, get a phone number, and then go chill on the sideline.
Could you imagine if he had a selfie option?
Oh, dude.
Right? Like, he'd be there. He'd run by the cheerleaders. He'd be like, let me take a picture.
Yeah, he'd go ahead, baby, and holler at me later. Yeah, catch me at the club. The Giants, you guys have a lot of questions. Dallas still has some questions. The one thing that Dallas has, they have the O-line that Jesus built. And apparently nobody saw this coming beforehand, but it's working. So Jerry Jones.
Jerry's going to take the credit, but I think you got to give Stephen Jones the credit for that one because he was the one that said, we're not taking Fanzeal. We're taking this offensive tackle. We're going to pop him into guard. And he may look a rookie, star. This guy's going to be a great player in the league for a long time if he stays healthy.
As long as they keep him out of the bar, they can keep their O-line dudes out of the bar. They're straight. But, that's the one major advantage that they have. New York, they got a lot of questionable guys as far as health-wise. JPP or Four Finger Freddy, as he's called now. I don't know what's going on with that dude. Apparently still hasn't signed
Well, he hasn't signed because not only is he missing the finger, but apparently he's missing the tip of another one, and the thumb is still fractured.
Yeah.
So, good luck getting around a good offensive lineman with, a half a hand.
Apparently, when you have money like that, you can buy really, really good fireworks because, I've seen and had a few firework incidents myself, but I've got what looks like all 10 digits. And that dude's, I've got to think his glove mitts are a little bit bigger than mine. But, they're saying it's going to affect the way he has to get down in his stance, going to have to switch hands and all that. And
Chris Carter talked about a fall guy. We talked about this a few weeks ago. Shouldn't they have a fireworks guy? If you are an NFL player, why are you lighting your own fireworks? Why are you putting your hands in your face at risk like that? That's insane.
Yeah, they have too much free time. If you're making $15 million a year, okay, so essentially after tax, let's say you get 7. Let's just say you're getting 7 of that.
Sure, that's because you have a bad tax accountant.
Yeah, but like after you pay everybody, you're getting 7 out of that. And
$5K for your Bobo. He's doing the fireworks.
Yeah.
Anyhow, back to the game. Dallas, New York. Who you taking tonight?
Much as I hate to say it, I've got to go with Dallas by 3.
Okay. I'm going to go with Dallas too. I'm not going to put numbers on it yet. Too early in the season for me to do that, but I like your call. So we'll scoot back around to, as we call them, the 10 a.m. games, as most of the East Coast calls them, the 1 o'clock games, or as some of my East Coast friends are currently calling them, the hangover games. The Indianapolis Colts are traveling to Buffalo. The Rex Ryan era begins. The Andrew Luck era continues. Who do you got? Who do you like?
This is a tough one to call. Buffalo's defense is pretty nice. They're saying Shady McCoy is going to play. He's apparently ready to roll. It'll be interesting to see what kind of numbers Luck can put up, because he does great in the regular season, but then playoffs he just looks like a completely different guy. Yep. That being said, I'm giving Indy a touchdown on this one.
Oh, see, I can't go that far. I think this kid, Tyrod Taylor, is going to have an actually good game. If he's been tough to game plan for, because you didn't know until about a couple weeks ago who was going to start. You've never really seen him in action. He played some, a little bit here and there as a fill-in when he was at Baltimore, but you really haven't seen this kid play. And the reports are you've got a legit running back. You have Harvin, you have Watkins, so you've got 2 legitimate outside threats. Yeah. Not like he's going to turn into Andrew Luck. But Rex Ryan, may be able to get something out of this offense where it's not usually his strong suit. And if that's the case, the Indy defense is bad.
Yeah,
I mean, really bad.
Well, one thing we haven't touched on, and not to cut you off there, sorry, but remember, Frank Gore is in Indy now, and they have not had a running game. This dude is, I mean, if he puts up numbers remotely close to last season, it'll be a godsend for them, because it'll take some of the pressure off of Luck. Teams aren't going to sit there and just play him in a zone and make him try to pick a spot. Now you've got a weapon in Gore. You still got to watch for Hilton on the deep ball, and you can have some crossing patterns. Luck is good enough. He's a good enough quarterback that he can. If you give him a weapon like that, he can definitely put it to his use. And I mean, if it becomes a game of running the score up, that's where I think Indy has the advantage. Buffalo has the defensive edge, but I think if it's a 30-35 game, that's Indy's game. If it's a 12-17, that's a Buffalo type game.
Yeah, look, if it ends up with 17 points for Indianapolis, you're going to start hearing the Chuck Pagano hot seat rumors already.
Yes.
But is Frank Gore a 1,000-yard running back at this stage in his career?
Yes, still.
Okay.
I mean, they say that they're putting him on so quote unquote a pitch count, but the dude is still a beast. I mean, he was in Frisco and he was still running people over. The guy doesn't run out of bounds. He stays generally healthy. He's had a couple of stingers or whatever, but he's still one of those last old school throwback, almost a Mike Allstott, a more athletic Mike Allstott type player, that he's not going to try and bounce everything outside. He's not afraid of the contact. He's going to use it. And, I mean, if he knows the playbook, anything like he knew it in Frisco, they really got a gem in there.
All right, so who you taking tonight or today in the early games? Buffalo, Indy.
I'm taking Indy. I'm going to go with Indy on this. I'm going to roll with the Luck.
I like to go against you, but I can't go against Andrew Luck this early in the season, so I won't do it. The Browns and the Jets, and we don't need to spend too much time on this game because, well, nobody's going to be watching it, but real quickly, your thoughts.
Watch on your left, watch on your right, because a sucker punch might come. From either locker room. Fanzeal, I applaud the kid. He's getting his life together. I actually want to see him make it. I really do. The Jets they're like the Raiders East. Like, they're about as dysfunctional as possible.
Without young talent. Yeah.
I mean, and dude, what's the purpose of getting Brandon Marshall if you have no quarterback to throw him the ball? Like, who's their third string quarterback?
You.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and it's not a big fall off from Geno. I mean, come on. These guys are. So that being said, I think Cleveland's in a little bit less disarray than the Jets are. Are they playing?
Think about that sentence for a minute. Think about a sentence. The Cleveland Browns are in less disarray than anybody. They signed Dwayne Bowe to a 2-year, $9 million deal after he didn't catch a single touchdown last year in Kansas City, and he's inactive today. He's not even going to play week 1.
Hey, get your money and run, baby.
Well, he's certainly going to have to because he's not catching anything. But you know what? I'm going to go with the Jets because they're at home in a close and ugly game. But I'm going to take New York with a defensive touchdown off of a really, really bad attempted Browns offense.
Wow. Yeah, that's going to be the shocker. I'm going Cleveland. 2 points, baby. 2 points.
All right. So we've got our first disagreement. There is a game that I think we're not going to have any disagreement on, and that is the Packers-Bears. John Fox is in Chicago now, which will make them a better team automatically. But Jay Cutler is still in Chicago, which makes them a worse team automatically. And even with the Packers' injury problems, without Jordy Nelson, with the very questionable shoulder, even though he'll play with Randall Cobb, you have Aaron Rodgers on the field. And anytime you have Aaron Rodgers on a field, and it's you have a chance to win and win by a lot. Yeah.
As long as they can protect him. I mean, I think the way that they're playing it in Chicago this season is that they have nothing to lose. So they're pretty much just going to go out and try to hit guys and lay some guys out. That being said, also Chicago has some question marks. Alshon Jeffries, I believe he had a calf issue with, which, is not major, but
you're a wide receiver.
Run.
Right.
And he's a big target. They don't have Marshall anymore. Not sure what their running game is going to look like. Green Bay's always had a pretty stout running defense. So,
well, if they move the linebackers inside, then they can certainly try it. Last year they had the problems doing it until they shifted up their defense a little bit. Matt Forte talked about it today. I was listening to an interview on the NFL Network, and he said, flat out, look, we have to be able to run the ball today. We have to be able to control the pace of the game because you have to keep Aaron Rodgers off the field. If Aaron Rodgers is on the field for 35 minutes this game, 36 minutes this game, you're done.
Yeah.
You have no shot. If the Bears can control the time of possession, if Forte goes for, say, 30 rushes for 110, not a great per carry average, but controls the ball, gets a few first downs, and Jay Cutler can manage to not throw the ball to anybody not in a Bears jersey.
Yeah.
This could be not a blowout. I don't think Chicago has any chance to win the game, but this could be a situation where if they can control the time possession, they don't lose by 20.
I think Green Bay just has to jump on them early. If they can get on them early and, basically kill their hopes and dreams and snatch the heart out by halftime, then I think, not necessarily a blowout, but it's a win that they can coast through. But if Green Bay starts to struggle early in the game, I mean, remember last season, they struggled for their first 2 or 3 games.
Yeah, took some time.
And they've got a lot to prove this season. I mean, dude, that was an epic collapse against Seattle.
Yeah, bad play calling. They really just got very conservative. They had questionable decision-making, and they didn't execute.
Yeah, they were playing to not lose the game. They weren't playing to win the game.
Well, that's a Mike McCarthy call if there ever was one, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so, pretty much. I mean, dude, gross set.
So we're both taking Green Bay in this one, no question about it?
Yeah, 10 points.
All right. Well, speaking of the team that did beat Green Bay in the playoffs last year, the Seahawks plays the Rams today. This is going to be a great game. This will probably be the game most people are seeing. I happen to love the Seahawks. I also like the Rams defense, but the Rams have no offense.
Yeah, but you know what, though?
At all.
I'm going to surprise some people. I'm picking the Rams to win this.
Are you really?
Yes, I am, and I'll tell you why.
I'm interested in finding out why.
The Rams play everyone. They play the quote unquote the top division guys, which are basically Arizona, Frisco, and Seattle. They play those teams extremely well.
Yes, they do.
But then you put them against somebody like Tennessee, and they throw up a cluster bomb.
Right.
You don't know what you're watching. So that being said, and I believe they're playing in St. Louis, are they not?
They are playing in St. Louis, yes.
So they're playing on the turf. I wouldn't be surprised if they pull this one out. 3 points.
I mean, you got Trey Mason is out.
Yes.
Gurley is still out. Nick Foles in his first year as quarterback over there. Plus you're sitting on a situation where it's a Jeff Fisher run offense.
Yeah. Now, is Austin playing today?
If he is it going to make a difference?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, that dude is lightning in a bottle. And remember, there's no Cam Chancellor playing for Seattle.
Yep. By the way, do you see the interview he did with Rodney Harrison and the Pro Football Talk guys where he basically said not only does he want to be paid for what he does on the field, but now he wants to be paid for his leadership?
Wow. Hey.
I've never heard that before.
Everybody, you got to find it's called self-marketing, promotion, and you got to find a way to get more dollars out of the tournament. So,
all right.
All
right, so you're going to take the Rams. I'm going to stick with the Seahawks. I agree with you that the Rams played them tough. It'll probably be a closer game than many people think.
Yes.
But Marshawn Lynch, too tough to stop. They now have offense. They now have red zone targets.
Let Marshawn run.
How are you going to not let Marshawn run?
As to the Super Bowl, hello.
Well, I mean, that was a terrible play. I don't even want to get into that. Plus, they have Jimmy Graham. I mean, now Russell Wilson has Jimmy Graham in the red zone and Marshawn Lynch.
That's going to be interesting to me to see how Graham works in the offense with them and how they pretty much work as a tandem as far as are they going to line up Graham on one side and are they going to rush Marshawn to the other? How much are they going to have Graham blocking? Because Graham's not a blocker. You got to put him in there just as an offensive weapon. If you're putting him in there to try to make some space, you're not going to do well. So, it'll be interesting to see how they play it. And I think it'll probably take maybe a game or two for them to really kind of get going and get rolling the way that they need to.
Okay.
I don't think he's going to transform their offense into what the Saints were at their prime.
No, but a toss-up and a fade, you're at second and goal from the 2, second and goal from the 3. Who's covering him? He's like 7'5".
Yeah, and the kid's got a good vertical. I think he has a 42.
Former basketball player for sure.
Yeah, so
So, we'll see how that goes. We each got our picks there. There's about 8 minutes left before week 1 of the NFL Sunday season kicks off. This is the Fanzeal NFL Whiparound. We'll be here. That's Brandon Boykin. I'm Justin Simon. Every week we'll be here before the games. Next week I'll actually be in Charlotte, and we'll be talking a little East Coast, West Coast, and we'll talk some Panthers. Check out Fanzeal.com. Every Monday you get the best and funniest, most sarcastic newsletter in sports. So far we made a bunch of picks. Before we do our final kind of whip around, I do want to touch on 2 more games with you that I think are going to be very interesting. We're going to start with in Denver in one of the late games today, Baltimore at the Broncos in a game that, look, these 2 teams could end up meeting in the AFC, deep in the AFC playoffs.
Again, and with this game, it's really going to depend on if they do meet in the playoffs. It's going to depend on where they play. Whether if they're playing in Denver, if they're playing in Baltimore. This is Steve Smith's last season.
Peyton Manning's last season, whether he says it or not.
Yeah. Justin Forsett had a good, solid year last year. And I think he's actually considered in the top 20 running backs for fantasy owners.
For sure. I think a lot of people had him in the top 10, believe it or not.
Yeah. So, I mean, the guy had a great year. Good to see a kid step up, next man up, as they say. Mm-hmm. Sanders is I think you're going to see a decline in Emmanuel Sanders, his numbers this season, because of the type of offense that they're shifting to.
Yep.
They're shifting to pretty much a run first type offense now. Thomas is still going to be Peyton's number 1 target.
Right, but they lost Julius Thomas.
Yeah.
And he's down in Jacksonville now, so that's a big target to lose.
Yeah.
And I still, while they have a lot of talent in their backfield, I am not a huge believer in the Denver running game. I just feel like it is not a consistent running game throughout the season. They're going to have to go to it more because Manning can't feel his fingertips, which is, a minor detail for quarterbacks, especially as it gets cold. I can't buy into them. I don't really trust Peyton at this stage of the game. Early in the season, he's going to start out well. Late in the season, he's not. But today's game, I'm actually going to go the Ravens.
Good pick, my man.
Oh, I'm not alone. Interesting.
T-Sizzle loves to go against Manning.
Yes, he does.
When you got a motivated T-Sizzle on the other side. Now, mind you, they did lose Haloti Ngata, which was a big loss for their O-line, their D-line rather. But T-Sizzle's he's gonna cause a lot of havoc. And if you're a Denver fan, you've got to be sweating a little bit because the last thing you need is you see this big dude coming from Ball So Hard State coming to lay the hammer down on old pay. That's not something you want to even think about or even want to envision. You feel the thunder like Sasquatch is beating down the block, and you see this dude coming to lay the hammer, and next thing you know, you're looking at who's the backup quarterback.
Fair enough. All right, we got 4 minutes left before the season, and I know it started Thursday, but I don't buy into that. Today is the NFL Week 1. We got 4 minutes left, so I'm going to take 2 minutes at the end before we leave this blab to hit on Falcons Eagles. But right now, I want to do a quick around the league and get your picks, so we can go on record, and at the end of the season, we can show that I know more about football than you do.
Yeah.
Panthers Jaguars. Your pick?
Panthers.
Okay.
Points too, or just.
I'm going Jaguars. I think Blake Bortles is going to have a very surprising year. I think he's going to take a step. I think next year is when he becomes actually a really good quarterback, but I'm going Jaguars at home. Dolphins, Redskins.
Dolphins.
I, too, am going Dolphins. They played RG3 at safety on the scout team this week. I don't know why they don't just cut him. He's going to end up injured, and they're going to owe him $16 million next year. It's awful. Lions, Chargers in San Diego.
I'm going with Chargers on that one.
I'm going to disagree. I'm going to go with the Lions. I think the Chargers are a team that starts slow, gets hot later on, and as you mentioned, Nada, just a little bit ago, I think that defense is going to cause the Chargers some problems.
Yeah.
In what should be or would have been a very, very good game 2 years ago, maybe not so much today, Saints-Cardinals.
I'm going with Cardinals on that one.
Yeah, I am too. I think the Saints are whether or not they want to admit it, they're in a rebuild phase, and I just don't see it. Bengals-Raiders.
Bengals.
I'm going to go with the upset. It's in Oakland. I do think the Bengals are a better team. I think they're a playoff team, but there's something about the way Lewis coaches that makes me think they're vulnerable early. He needs time to adjust. I'm going Oakland.
Okay.
Titans, Bucks.
Oh, wow. This is like toilet bowl too. Something's pushing. I've got to go with Tampa Bay. I mean, dude, you got Evans and Vincent Jackson as your receivers, your two best receivers in Tampa Bay. Yeah. And Tennessee has, I don't know, like they've got
my cousin.
Yeah, my cousin Benny, Al Bundy.
Right.
And they've got a 5'2" receiver. Like,
well, I'm going to join you with the Bucks. I just don't. The Titans don't do anything for me. They don't excite me all year, and I'll probably be picking against them most weeks. 2 more games left to talk about. And just your quick pick, Vikings, Niners.
Oh, that's a tight one. I got to go with, and I'm a 49er fan, but I got to go with the Vikings. I think Adrian Peterson comes out and kind of shows his tail. I mean, the 49ers run defense, 49ers defense, period, is pretty shaky. But, you can't stop Peterson. Bridgewater just has to make sure he doesn't do anything to lose. Just go out there, drop some passes off here and there. Throw for 150 yards, kid. Give the ball to AP.
I like it. I, too, am going to go with the Vikings. I think Bridgewater's the real deal. I don't know so much about the receiving core yet. They're young. I don't trust, that aspect of it. But Peterson's going to carry the load. Bridgewater's going to keep getting better, and I'm going to take the Vikings, even though the game's in San Francisco. And the last game to talk about this week.
Let
me get some air in this here shirt. Let me just air this out. Eagles, Falcons. Sam Bradford, it's week 1, so he's still healthy. They got Matthews, they got Murray, they got a lot of young wide receiving talent. They got a sick offense, and they're for the first time in a while, and who knows how long this will last, a healthy defense. Falcons have Matt Ryan. Falcons have Julio Jones. Where do you like?
I'll go Eagles. Fly, Eagles, fly.
Good, because our friendship, we were going to have to, not be friends after this had you gone Atlanta.
I mean, I'm still a little salty with Philly, but I like Chip Kelly, what he's doing. The guy's he's either genius or he's a garbage man. So, we're going to see throughout the season what he's cooking up in the lab over there. They've definitely got some pieces. They're gonna try and run teams out of the building, and that's we'll see how that's going to work in the first few weeks.
Well, if you're even a remotely medium-sized or kind of pseudo-NFL fan, and you say, okay, I'll watch one game with my friends, watch the Eagles. Because even if you don't like them, they're fun to watch. They move fast. They don't plod. It's almost like football on speed. It's as if everybody was just mainlining 5-hour energy drinks.
If we were to ever compare 2 sports, this is where you can compare Philly to the Golden State Warriors.
Yep.
Running gun, up and down. It's going to be exciting. You're not going to want to get up to go get those nachos. Send your girl. She'll get you a beer. She's got 2 hands. Come back, and that way you can tell her, hey, baby, you have no idea what you just missed.
All right, well, I'm taking the Eagles, too. The games are kicking off here in about 1 minute, so we appreciate everybody who popped into the Fanzeal NFL Whiparound. That's Brandon Boykin. I'm Justin Simon. You can check us out at the Fanzeal YouTube channel. Head over to fanzeal.com. Sign up for the funniest newsletter in sports, and there's going to be a place where you can interact one-on-one with your favorite athletes for free. So check it out, and we'll see you here next week. Same bad time, same bad place. Have a great week 1.